Welcome to Mercer Moments in American History, a program dedicated both to current events that will impact all of us, but also to some of those major moments in American history that for some reason have been erased, deleted from our classrooms, from our textbooks. Well, I'm hoping to bring those back. Today I ask a question: who deleted the Holocaust? And if you will, I believe that has both current events and historical events. Who deleted the Holocaust? My name is Ken Mercer. I'm known as the Minister of Education because for 16 years as an elected official, both at the Texas State House and State Board of Education, I had a reputation of fighting for the rights of moms and dads to see what's being taught in our classrooms. In fact, I also have a reputation of fighting for American history standards, for true and accurate American history, including our sons and daughters learning about the Holocaust of World War II. I begin every session with two quick asks. One, if you enjoyed this session and want to learn more, please hit the like or subscribe button. Let our sponsors know that Mercer Moments in American History is making a difference. And secondly, I give a shout out to one state every program. Today, that's the state of Florida. We're in Florida for those in the YouTube channel. And I'm asking you to lift up in prayer those young men and women of great American values, Judeo-Christian values, especially in our colleges, universities, and even our high schools. They need our prayers, our encouragement. There's a country where students are afraid to wear the Star of David and where they're scared to wear the cross of Christ. And that country is not in somewhere in Africa. It's not a nation in the Middle East. No, it's a place called the United States of America. And you're an eyewitness. You've seen it before too. These kids have been attacked personally in the classroom and now physically outside for their faith and values, so they need our prayers. Today, if you will, is a two-part program. Again, who deleted the Holocaust? The first part, I'll talk about national standards today. The next program number 2, part 2, there'll be a 2A and B. 2A will talk about the prophet, General Eisenhower. That'll be interesting. And part B of program 2 will talk about what I call Politics 101. Follow the money, honey. Who's paying for all these changes in our curriculum? Who's paying for these changes in our standards in our textbook? I think you enjoy that. Well, let's begin. Who deleted the Holocaust? And Mr. Mercer, what are you talking about? Well, I'm going to go back to what the media called the textbook wars. That always intrigued me, why they call it a war. All we did was ask honest questions to the experts from across the nation. My mom, Mary Dahlia Almaguer Mercer, wonderful Hispanic woman, used to always tell me that when you ask honest, simple questions and people get mad, that usually means two things. First, they're probably lying to you, and second, they're trying to hide something. And what happened on national standards, a group of professors met. In this case, it was United States history, and they met from across the nation, different universities. And they said, well, what standards would we want taught that you could get both high school and college credit in American history? And could we pass a national standard that would go to our high schools, that if you take our class, you could be eligible both for high school graduation credits, perhaps as many as 2 years for high school history, and 2 courses, 6 semester hours in United States history. Now, if you're a parent, that's quite a good deal. If your student can do that, you can have a high school diploma and you can have graduation credits for not just high school, but also credits for college. But that was the hook, if you will. And it was really a set of national standards. And my concern was we have 50 states, and I've always argued that it's good to have 50 laboratories of education, competing with each other, with one another, learning from one another. That's more efficient than to have a one-size-fits-all, which oftentimes in history you found out becomes very dangerous. These professors were great accolades, funded programs, funded chairs at the universities, and they developed a set of national standards for United States history. Now, there were several things I was concerned about, but I'm going to just try to laser focus on one, and that's the Holocaust of World War II. And in case you don't know, the Holocaust of World War II was one of the major themes of World War II, was the murder of over 6 million Jewish children, women, and men. So that was the focus, and that was the battle. So the first round of these national standards came out. Again, they come to Texas. They've gone to every state. They're going to Arizona, Nevada. They're going to Wisconsin, Michigan. They're going to North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Georgia with their standards, try to replace the state standards with their standards. And again, the hook being, if you take their course and study for their test, you can get up to 2 years of high school graduation credit and up to 6 hours of college credit in U.S. history and never have to take U.S. history again. And here's the problem. Again, I'm going to be focused on just one area. That's hard for me. There's a lot of concerns, but it was World War II, and they had deleted the Holocaust. I kid you not. I went through it back and forth. I asked my expert that I had to review it, my reviewers, to look at it, and I did word searches. It's easier now with today's technology. You can do searches. The Holocaust was deleted from World War II. For United States history, study of World War II. And when I first brought it up to the attention of the experts, I was told, Mr. Mercer, we did not delete the Holocaust. We just, are you ready for this? Omitted it. We didn't delete it. We just omitted it. You can see when I get passionate when I call certain experts. I say, did you get your undergraduate degree from the University of Gobbledygook? University of Gobbledygook? Did you get your advanced degree from the University of Babylon? You didn't delete the Holocaust, you just omitted it. And foolish as I was, I thought the national media, who was there, would be in my side. Hey, Mercer's hit on something. How can they not teach the Holocaust as part of World War II? And let me leave you a thing. There's a key thing in education. If it's not testable, you don't teach it. If it's not going to be of a test, you don't teach it. So if the Holocaust is not a testable item for a national exam, guess what? You don't bother to teach it. And that's a fact for any subject, but in this case, it was pretty clear what was going on. The media was accepting me for asking questions, asking honest questions, and never embarrassed, never rude or crude. And I can tell you the conversations I had both on the formal dais, the hearing, whether it be going to the bathroom, going to the lunchroom, in the hallway, getting a cup of coffee. Some folks were upset with me for asking these questions to the national experts. After all, they had all these prestigious, again, chairs and foundations, and who was I? But all I was doing was asking a question. Why did you delete or omit the Holocaust when World War II? Well, this went on for a while. Again, I repeat, the media called it the textbook wars. But there are several things going on, but I'm going to focus on the Holocaust. And finally, one of our last days of debate, national debate, and again, this is not just the dais, but this is the hallways, this is everywhere. People upset with me. And when they brought it up again, I asked, why did you delete the Holocaust of World War II? And the new answer from one expert, very condescending, said, Member Mercer, I was a member, history, it's very thematic. We only cover the major themes of any event. And I had a God moment because what came out of my mouth then was something just wasn't rehearsed. Again, they said, history is thematic. We only cover the major themes of any event. And I said, so you're telling me the murder of 6 million Jewish children, women, and men was not a major theme of World War II? As our young people would say, Mr. Mercer, you crushed it. Or they say, boom, mic drop. And I wasn't trying to be rude or crude. I was frustrated because we'd gone through this debate so many times and I appeared to be losing, and I was concerned to not have the votes, even with the Republican majority. And then it became very clear. And all of a sudden it changed. All of a sudden, back in the standards was the Holocaust in World War II. Now, I caution those of you who are listening because it happens in Texas every 8 or 10 years. We review our history standards. And if it's happening in Texas, it's also happening in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. It's also happening in Arizona, Nevada. It's happening in Michigan, Ohio. It's happening in Wisconsin. It's all happening. They're going one by one to every state, trying to take the state standards away for U.S. history and put in this national standards. I challenge you to ask your children and grandchildren about the Holocaust of World War II. See if they even know about it. And I share this, and this time, this is near the end of 2024, because throughout our nation and our college and universities, we're having all these students and professors who are protesting, showing a very strong anti-Israel, anti-Jewish sentiment in the colleges and universities across the nation. You're saying, how can this be? What's wrong with these students? Again, I challenge you. Ask your sons and daughters, ask your grandchildren if they know about the Holocaust. Let me give you one more modern example from October 7, 2023. Hopefully you know what that date means. That's what we call the second Holocaust. And the reports in America have been a little clouded or filtered. I go and read reports from Israeli media, from the British media, the BBC, some United Nations reports, which came out late, by the way, but still the United Nations, you think, would be leading the forefront about some of the atrocities committed in that day. But this is what's really shocked me. As you know, that day, hopefully, there were about 2,000 bombs that went over Israel, about 1,500 Hamas terrorists broke through the lines of Israel. Their target was not military. Make that clear. It was not military. It was civilians. There was no what they call friendly fire, where two armies are battling each other and people are caught in the middle. No, these targets were civilian targets, and it's very systematic, very well planned. And again, I don't want to be graphic, but considering it as a separate podcast on what happened October 7, 2023. Pray for me for that, because it's hard. It's hard because as I do more research into other news media, and their facts are the body cams, the body cameras of the Hamas terrorists. So it's not somebody said, somebody thinks. They're using the body cameras to gather their facts and their evidence. And what was so horrific, in particular, the butchering of people, the torturing, and again, I don't want to be graphic, but babies who were tortured, women who were tortured, brutally gang raped, and then shot in the back of the head. It was so horrific. It's what I define as EDS, evil, D, demonic, S, satanic. I repeat, evil, demonic, satanic. That's what I'm calling the Hamas terrorist, how horrible that was. The BBC reported that the evidence of rape and severe sexual violence, and it said that 18 young men and women have been hospitalized in mental health hospitals because they could no longer function. We're not hearing it. These are 18 men and women who Hamas terrorists thought were dead. And when they found them underneath bodies and recovered these people, they said these 18 young men and women had been hospitalized in mental health hospitals because they could no longer function, because what they had seen, others reported suicidal. What they had seen, these eyewitnesses, was so evil, demonic, satanic, they can no longer function. And now they're in Israeli mental health hospitals, psychiatric hospitals. I won't go any further than that. I have a lot of stuff here, different reports that really makes me angry. But what makes me angry is this: the parents of those 1,200 people who were murdered, and they're looking for them, and the 250 taken hostage, they put up, as you know, brochures across the United States. I'm going to use New York as an example because that's the one you're an eyewitness. That's the one many of you hopefully saw on TV. They put out brochures, posters of their loved ones among the 1,200 who were killed, and portraits of those who were taken hostage. This could be their sons, their daughters, their brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, grandparents, and they put them across the subways and the bus stops, the areas of community gathering in New York City. And you're an eyewitness, some of these female college students, females coming by and systematically tearing down those signs, those pictures. What is wrong with these people? How could a woman, being so much aware of what has happened to fellow women, to other women, and tearing down these signs? And you ask me, Mr. Mercer, what's going on? Well, I'm going to point you to the second half of my program, part 2, next week, of Who Deleted the Holocaust, part 2. I'm going to talk about General Dwight Eisenhower in part A, 2A. Eisenhower talks about when the soldiers called in, they found these people in the woods, they found these camps, and they couldn't even describe how horrific what the National Socialist Party, that's what they are, the Nazis, what they had done to people. And Eisenhower told them to take all the film, all the pictures, all the eyewitnesses they could. He made some of the German towns come there and bury the people so they could see firsthand what the Nazi Party had done, the National Socialist Party had done. And he said we need to gather all the evidence because someday they're going to deny it ever happened. And that's why I call him the prophet, General Dwight Eisenhower, because in our college and universities, it's pretty simple to see. They're trying to delete the Holocaust, and we have many professors and college students who are now denying the Holocaust happened of World War II. And now, October 7, 2023, if you will, the second Holocaust, not 6 million, but still 1,200 in one day. People massacred, tortured. And now we have people in our college and university who are denying or deleting those posters, denying that Holocaust ever happened. In the second part of my next program, 2B, will be called Politics 101. Follow the money, honey. Follow the money, honey. In my life, a lot of things don't make sense. I have to research, saying, is that internet garbage or is it really true? And I have to keep on following down there. And oftentimes when it doesn't pass the Mercer smell test, how many things in your life that you read about or you see on TV does not pass your smell test, does not pass the Mercer smell test? And that's when I find out it's, quote, Politics 101, follow the money, honey. In the next program, I'm going to show you who's funding it. Why tens of billions, that's billions with a B, have gone to over 200 colleges in America. And many times, that money is by people who don't like America, who don't have our best interest in mind and certainly hate Israel. Not all of it, but too much of it. Politics 101, follow the money, honey. Let me end with this, because I want to strengthen you, not discourage you. But when I study America throughout history, some of the worst times, the worst things that could have happened, it always amazed me. From 1776 to hopefully today, what brought us back together, what united us, what put us back on the right path, consistent, it was our faith and our values coupled with our worship. Our faith and values with our worship has made America time after time invincible, unconquerable. I studied times when the churches and synagogues were packed, were full. I'm working on another podcast called the 37 Cents of Faith, a different topic, but churches in Philadelphia, at that point in time, I won't tell you now, it's in the future, but they were giving out tickets to church services, not to sell. The fire marshal said you can only have so many people. So here's the 9 o'clock service. Oh, it's full. The next service is 11, or next service is at 1. The churches and synagogues were so full, they were often giving out tickets as to what service you could go to. You know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be very bold. I'm going to predict that what's happening in the world and what's happening in America right now in our colleges and universities, it's going to change. There's going to be a time very soon when your churches and your synagogues are going to be full. They're going to be packed again. Because the secret of America, it's always been our faith and our values coupled with our worship. Let me conclude by, I always ask, if you enjoyed today's program, please share it with your friends and family. Hit the like or subscribe button. It does not cost you a cent. Subscribe button lets you know when other programs come out that I come out. You know right away they're coming out. Doesn't cost you a penny. And my shout out today, as I always do, to one state, one university. It's the state of Florida. Pray for those young men and women who are going to school in Florida or going out of state. Those young men and women who love America, they need our encouragement. They need our prayers. And finally, I end every program very positive. There's a secret that our enemies, who are not just foreign, but many domestic, they don't want you to know. The secret is that in a place called the United States of America, in God, we still trust. Right here in America, in God, we still trust. My friends, thank you. God protect you. God bless you.